Did you know that the word typewriter can be typed using only the top row of keys on your keyboard? It sounds like a coincidence, right? But it's not. This fun little detail hides a story that goes back 150 years to the invention of the very first typewriters. And it leads to one big question. Why do most keyboards start with the letters Q, W, E, R, T? Why instead of something simple like A, B, C, D? Thinking face. Welcome to Why This Thing, the channel where we uncover the fascinating secrets behind everyday objects you use without even thinking about them. Today, we're diving deep into the mystery of the QWERTY keyboard layout, a design that shaped the modern world. The story begins in the 1870s, when an American inventor named Christopher Latham Sholes created one of the first practical typewriters. At the time, the keyboard layout was arranged alphabetically A, B, C, D, and so on. At first, this seemed perfectly logical. After all, we use the alphabet for writing, dictionaries, and organization. So why not type that way too? But there was a huge problem. Early typewriters relied on metal arms called type bars that struck paper when you pressed a key. If a typist worked too quickly, especially using letters that appeared together often like th or r, the type bars would collide and jam, tangling together and stopping the machine completely. Imagine writing an important document and having to stop every few seconds to untangle metal arms. It was slow, frustrating, and inefficient. Sholes realized he needed a smart fix. Instead of arranging the letters alphabetically, he redesigned the layout to separate the most commonly used letter pairs, spreading them across the keyboard so they wouldn't clash as often. This forced typists to move their fingers around more, typing just a little slower, but the typewriter now worked smoothly without constant jams. This design became known as QWERTY, named after the first 6 letters on the top row of the keyboard. Many people believe QWERTY was invented just to slow people down, but that's not the whole truth. The real purpose wasn't speed control, it was efficiency. By slightly slowing down typing, Sholes actually made typing faster overall because typists no longer had to stop and fix jams every few words. In other words, QWERTY wasn't a random idea, it was a clever technological solution to a very real problem of its time. In 1878, the Remington Company began mass-producing typewriters with the QWERTY layout. Once businesses, schools, and government offices adopted it, millions of people learned this system. And once so many people became familiar with it, switching to another design became nearly impossible. Even as typewriters evolved into computers and smartphones, QWERTY stayed, becoming deeply woven into our daily lives. Here's what's even more fascinating. There are better keyboard layouts. The Dvorak simplified keyboard, invented in the 1930s, allows for faster and more comfortable typing. Another layout, QWERTY, is popular among programmers and tech enthusiasts because it's even more efficient than QWERTY. But here's the catch. Changing the layout today would be like asking the whole world to start driving on the opposite side of the road. It's technically possible but massively inconvenient. QWERTY has become so universal that replacing it is practically unthinkable. And yes, there are even more fun facts about QWERTY. The word typewriter can be typed entirely from the top row, a deliberate trick early typewriter salesmen used to impress buyers. In France, they use AZERTY, while Germany uses QWERTZ, slight variations designed for their languages. Even though modern devices don't have physical keys to jam, like smartphones and tablets, they still use QWERTY because it's what people know. The longest English word you can type using just one row is, you guessed it, typewriter. Think about this for a moment. Every text message you send, every email you write, and every search you make connects you to a decision made in the 19th century. QWERTY wasn't designed for the digital age. It was designed for the mechanical limitations of a typewriter that hasn't existed for decades. Yet, it continues to shape the way the modern world communicates. So the next time you press a key, remember, there's history under your fingertips. The QWERTY keyboard wasn't random. It was a genius fix for a frustrating problem, and its legacy has lasted for more than 150 years. If you enjoyed this story, hit subscribe to Why This Thing for more fun and fascinating facts about the objects and technologies we take for granted every single day. And here's a fun challenge for you. Try typing typewriter using just the top row of your keyboard. It's easier than you think and a fun reminder of how clever this design really is.